Hello and welcome to the Cold Coffee Club, a podcast brought to you by Houston Moms. We're here to give you a little bit of that mom-to-mom connection, fun, and conversation amidst all the chaos. Join us as we take a break from doing all the things and explore the wide spectrum of this crazy motherhood role. We'll interview fun guests, talk about cool grown-up topics, laugh, share, and grow together. So go ahead, reheat that coffee, and put your feet up. Here we go.
Good morning. Welcome to the Cold Coffee Club. This is Jenny.
And this is Ashley. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You have an ET for us today?
I do. I just got back into town from North Carolina. I did a very quick impromptu trip to visit my family. I left on Mother's Day and I was only there for a few days. It was, again, a very, very quick trip. But it was interesting traveling alone to visit family. It was wild. And, it was good to see everybody, but it was really just fun spending time like in the airport by myself. And
yes.
I saw this really cool thing I had a layover in Detroit, and they have this like vending machine food court kind of thing. So it's like this big thing in the wall. You go up to the screen, you type in, they have items from Payway. They have items from like a deli. They have items from a Chipotle-like place. And you pick what you want. And then this panel of little lockers are up against the wall and you get your food there.
This
blew
is
my mind. I loved it. It was so cool. So yeah, it was just
and
really
it's
fun.
Fast? Like, is it fast?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's not like instant, but it's like, I don't know, less than 5 minutes. So yeah, very cool. It's fun seeing what's a thing these days.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have tea for us this week?
I do. We had kind of like a parenting milestone. This weekend. The kids were like really calm and were reading and like playing nicely. And Grant and I needed to like run a quick errand, and the kids did not want to come. And Grant was like, "You want to leave him?" And so, Ellie's going into junior high and everything. And I was like, yeah, we were going to be gone for like 35 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so we decided we'd leave him home. And, they have the ability to FaceTime us if they need to, or call us if they need to. And so we decided we were going to leave them home alone. We told them, all the rules about like, don't answer the door. And, when we have the Ring cameras and all that stuff. And so for the first time, we left them here and ran up to the store, and what was so funny though is that they were very excited, and we almost changed our minds because they were acting so crazy about it. That it was like, you're not giving us a ton of confidence in leaving you. So our Spotify account is linked to Grant's Spotify account, and it's linked to his car, but it's also linked to our Amazon Alexa. And so we're driving and Grant's like listening to Spotify on his truck, and all of a sudden like this truck music stops and another song starts, and we look and it's playing and it says like kitchen at the top, and it says Kids Bop, Blinding Lights. Like they were listening to Kids Bop in the kitchen. They were throwing a party. So
they were living it up.
They were very excited. But yeah, I was like, okay, so like we're dipping our toe in this hole, leaving them home. We wouldn't do it for long periods of time, and we probably wouldn't do it like at night yet or anything like that. But just for this, like we needed to just like run up and grab something and come home. They did great. And we got home and we're like, how'd everything go? And they're like, we're fine. Everything was fine. So
that's so fun. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I'm sure they were super duper good. I'm sure they felt very independent and grown up.
Yes. Ellie was very excited to be in charge.
I bet.
That's everything she's ever wanted.
Of course.
So do you have any cream and sugar for us today?
Yeah. So this weekend, my best friend comes to town, and I have been wanting to take her to Bravery Chef Hall for the longest. Okay. So this place, think like mall food court, but with like fancy-ish grown-up food and like all the things you enjoy as an adult. It's several different chefs. They all have their own little section. And you can just hop around and get all kinds of different food, all kinds of amazing food. And I've been there before with one of my sorority sisters, and we literally just dabbled at each one, tried like their specialty dish at every little like kiosk, more or less.
That's great.
And yeah, so I'm really excited to take her. It is on Travis Street downtown, and it's just like a fun way to explore Houston food, especially if you have someone in from out of town and they don't know, what we do here, which is all the amazing good things. Like I mentioned in North Carolina, I was like, what is y'all's like food here? Like, what are y'all known for? And my aunt's like, nothing. Like, well, I could never live here. I could never live here. Like, we do all the food well here. So, so I'm really excited to take her. And again, I've been there before and it was incredible. So I'm really excited to like try out a couple drinks and a couple different signature dishes with her.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I've heard really great things there about that. So I want to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Today's episode of the Cold Coffee Club is brought to you by Houston Angels. Did you know that there are over 2,000 children and youth in foster care across the Houston area? 1 out of 5 foster care youth become homeless at age 18. 50% of foster homes close within the first year, and 20,000 youth between the ages of 18 and 21 age out of the foster care system annually. While the statistics are sobering and can feel overwhelming, the truth is we can all do a little something to make a big difference in the lives of kids and families in our area. May is National Foster Care Month, and we're partnering with Houston Angels to bring you information about how you and your family can get involved in their incredible mission. Houston Angels' goal is to build communities of people all across Greater Houston that literally change the way children, youth, and families experience foster care. Houston Angels is committed to walk alongside those who are in the foster care community by offering consistent support, and today they're sharing how we can all get involved and make an impact. Currently, Houston Angels has 4 young men who will be graduating from high school this month, and they need help from our community to show their support for their big achievement. We have an Amazon wish list that we can all contribute to, and there's also multiple volunteer opportunities, and they're also accepting donations. You can give a one-time gift or join the Angel Alliance and become a monthly donor. To see the Amazon wish list and learn more about Houston Angels, click the link in our show notes. All right, back to the show.
This episode, we're going to talk about how we encourage the quiet for our children. Jenny and I both find it kind of important that our kids spend a little bit of quiet time, and we're going to discuss why and how. Our kids are all older, like they don't take naps anymore. They go to school, so they don't really have nap time, but I think it is important that they just kind of chill for a little bit. And the benefits of quiet time include it improves learning, it makes them, I think we mentioned before that boredom is good for our children. So they start like thinking about things and kind of create their own entertainment. And especially with summer coming up, I don't want to be always on.
Yes.
Yeah. It increases independence. It encourages reflection. It enhances their creativity and promotes mindfulness. And so I think all of these things are super important, especially with summer coming up and wanting our kids to, just create their own happiness.
Yes. I think, obviously quiet time is beneficial for children and adults too. I mean, not just for them. And I think one thing is it's important to teach our kids that quiet time is not a punishment. This is not time out. You're not being sent to your room for, quiet time because they're being bad.
Right.
It's something everyone can look forward to. I think we can look forward to quiet time. It's not necessarily even sleep time. You're not taking a nap. You can read books. You can play with toys. I think you can slowly introduce it. I think sometimes people are like, how do you start this if you've not done it before? It can be something you slowly introduce by just maybe doing it 1 or 2 days a week at first. for 15 to 20 minutes. I think eventually your kids will really enjoy it.
Yes.
Once they're used to it. I know my kids sometimes they're kind of disturbed sometimes when the house is too quiet. Like they feel a little like it's too quiet in here. What's going on? Just because I think our house is usually somewhat noisy. But that is most of the time when there's multiple people in the room. Like it feels like this feels strange. Why is there no sound? Like, why is this? But if they're alone, I think they really like the quiet. I think it's calming.
Yeah, we've been kind of incorporating a quiet time on weekends for a while now. And my youngest is in kindergarten. So last school year, he was he still took naps. And so for him, it's not really a big deal. And we do it for an hour every day where everyone goes to separate spaces. My younger two share a bedroom, but my middle child tends to go to the playroom. My youngest goes in his room, and then my oldest goes in his room. And everyone kind of like picks some toys that they want to take to the room, pick some books, do kind of just coloring books, things like that. And I have noticed that at first they weren't too big on it. They're like, well, why? I want to hang out with my brothers. I want to do this. And I've kind of explained to them like, yeah, but you guys are always dealing with someone. It is nice to just like breathe in your own space and no one's touching you, talking to you, whatever. And it seems like they're starting to really understand like, oh yeah, this is nice. No one's asking me questions. I don't have to share anything for an hour. I don't have to deal with anyone. And they'll think about things. I'll go in and check my middle child and he'll be in the playroom and he's just laying back, just looking at the ceiling. And I'm like, what you doing? And he's like, just thinking. I'm like, yeah, I feel you. And I've caught my youngest. They have a baby monitor in their room still. And I'll look at him and he's just on his bed playing with toys. And he's just like, I wonder if I do this, what will happen here? And I'm like, no one's disturbing you. You just get to be alone in your thoughts. And I feel like they really benefit from it. And I think just having a break from everyone. Mom's not bothering you. The dogs aren't bothering you. Your brothers aren't bothering you. Just having that, just like I get to be in my own mind for a while. It seems to be helping. And I feel like this summer we're really going to need it. Like everyone's talking to each other. Like it seems like we will really need some just chill time.
My oldest, my daughter, is very, she needs a break a lot from her younger brother. And so that's kind of how it all started for us was me just wanting to help her get a little break from him and just going, okay, like, well, why don't y'all have some alone time from each other is really how it started was just you go to your room and you go to your room and let's just play separately for a little bit. And one thing I loved is they started to, when they would play in their rooms, they would start to like make their room their own a little bit. She would kind of start to organize things differently or put all her things in this drawer or organize her little, the top of her dresser. And it just kind of, they just started to like kind of personalize things for themselves a little bit. And I really loved that. I loved seeing just kind of how you just kind of see the little people that they're becoming when they are alone with their things. And you know, and she'd call me up and go, look, Mom, I put all of my scrunchies over here. And I put all of the, you know, like she would show me what she had made and what she had done. And I just loved seeing that kind of a thing.
Yeah. We, Jenny and I both kind of have some tools that we use for quiet times. My kids are big on Legos and Magnetiles. And so those have been real easy to just have in a drawer. And it's like, okay, it's quiet time. Just take the whole drawer with you to your room. You can play with those today. Or utilizing the local library has been a big thing for us. Checking out library books or the ones that will, not just regular books, but the ones that will read to you. And so like, if you have younger readers who kind of need a little help, they'll read the story along with the recording, which is really fun. And then my kids, I didn't realize how you can spark so much creativity with just handing your child a blank notebook. My kids have written little stories like during their quiet times, and they're like, I wrote a story about Fortnite. Do you want to read it? And I'm like, absolutely, I love this. And they're like, well, I had to change this and I had to move this around because it didn't make sense to the story. And I'm like, I love that you are a little writer now. I love this. And it's things like that that would not happen if we didn't have any quiet time. I assure you, my children would not be writing stories if they were interacting all the time with each other.
That's great. That's great.
What are some tools you have for quiet time?
So, and especially if you have a kid that's maybe a little resistant to quiet time or really feels the need to have some type of technology or screen or something, maybe a way to ease into that, like you said, having like audiobooks. I have sometimes you can find maybe through your Alexa or through your iPad, there are some apps that will play a story for you. So you can put some headphones on and have them listen to a story while they play. And that's just maybe a way to phase in some quiet time. So it's still incorporating a little bit of technology, but they're not having their eyes glued to a screen and they're still playing. That was one way we phased it in for my son because he was feeling a little, he needed some type of sound. He was like, this is too quiet for me. Yeah. Another thing we use a lot in our home is cube timers. And I've linked to some in the show notes, but it's these timers that you can set for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they flip them up and they can see how much time is left. And, it's just a little way for them to kind of control what they're doing. And if I say, okay, we're going to be in here for 20 minutes and, or I'll just say, okay, for the next, 15 minutes, I need you to focus on putting this laundry away, or for, I need you to separate from your sister and not talk to her until this thing beeps. Yeah. And it just gives them a little bit more of a defined thing rather than just stop touching your sister. It's like, just like, don't touch her until this time, that's another really great way. And we use those for everything, do your homework for the next, fill in the blank, those cube timers. I use them for work. I can be a little distracted and I will set that little timer for myself of work for the next 30 minutes and then take a break,
Yeah. We also use these things called brain break cards. And so I had like an old Amazon box and I printed off these brain breaks. And a lot of times it's like, hop on one foot for 10 seconds or like just ways to get the sillies out or ways to kind of regroup a little. Yes. And so we use those when kids are being out of control or during quiet time when it's like, I really don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, well, here's the bag of brain breaks. You go through those. And I glued them to a cardboard box and cut them out so that they'll last because these people. Yes. But yeah, those have been a great way to just like, okay, you don't know what to do with yourself. Okay, well, here's a whole bag of things that you can do just to keep yourself occupied. If you don't want to sit still, if you're not enjoying being alone, well, here's some little distractors for you. And they have been super helpful.
The last one I'll mention is you can get for really cheap, like little books, like word search books or connect the dot books or things like that. And the trick is you keep those hidden and make it a surprise. And so you wait until it's a quiet time moment and be like, oh, I have a present for you. Yeah. And maybe like a fresh box of crayons that you get at the dollar store and go, I've got you this fresh box of crayons and this new word search book. And you're going to go to your room. And for 30 minutes, we're going to have a quiet time. We're going to do this word search and stay in your room. For 30 minutes and we're gonna have quiet time. Yeah. And then off they go, and it's like just a way for them to like, one, they feel like they got something, and again, like you can get those things at the dollar store, or you can print them offline. I'm sure you can find them on Etsy or Pinterest or whatever. But I think the biggest thing for us in my house is you have to schedule this quiet time into your day. It's not going to happen naturally. Right. They're not going to, at least my kids are not going to take it upon themselves to go have that quiet time.
Yeah.
They're going to go and go and go. Like you have to, they do need it, but they're not going to, it's like sleeping. Like they're just not going to, they're not going to go to bed on their own volition. So same thing. You have to tell them to take a minute.
Yeah.
Take a minute.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm hoping everyone can find a way to incorporate some quiet time this summer. I know it's going to be very busy with our children home and trying to keep up with the things they think they need, but also they need some quiet time, some alone time, some time to reflect and think. So,
all right. What do you have for your house blend this week? What are you loving on the Houston Mom site?
This week we have a post from Monica Bell. It's called "You Don't Have to Be Perfect to Be a Super Mom." And I feel like the title says it all.
Yes.
That's exactly what we all need to hear. We are, flaws and all, we are crushing it, moms. We're doing our very best. We are making sure our families have what they need, and we're making it happen. So it was just a really refreshing reminder that we can do this.
Yes.
There are days where, especially with summer coming up, it's like, oh my gosh,
yes.
I can't anymore. I can't. But we've got this. We have absolutely got this.
Absolutely.
What is your house blend this week?
Mine is from our new contributor, Cindy V. It's called "I'm Not Crying, You're Crying, Facing the End of a Preschool Era." And she wrote this really sweet post about just kind of saying goodbye to preschool and just kind of all the emotions that go with that. And what I really loved about it, one, it's just very relatable, but also it was kind of a love letter to preschools in general and the teachers and the magic that they create for these kids, and especially kids that maybe were resistant to going, and then how they kind of just somehow magically get these children to love being there. And preschool teachers, man, they are, I don't know how they do it. That would be a very exhausting job. And so they are incredible. So it's a really great post.
For our See You Later Caffeinator this week, Jenny and I are sharing in our show notes some resources, ways to kind of incorporate quiet time in your schedule. We have a few scheduling ideas that you can either purchase, or some are free. So just daily schedules where, like Jenny mentioned, you're going to have to schedule quiet time. It's not just going to happen. So if your kids are anything like ours, having a schedule that's like, okay, right now we're doing this, and from this window to this window, we're going to play outside or swim or whatever.
Yes.
And then at 2:00, it's quiet time. It's not going to be a surprise. Here it is on the schedule. I know my kids especially, they need to see it. That's why we have rules up on the wall. We have schedules, because if there's any confusion, be like, go look at that. Look at that right there. It explains it to you. There it is.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It's plain in plain writing. There it is.
There it is.
So we're going to be sharing a few resources. Ways to do quiet time, ideas for things to do during your quiet time. If you have kiddos who are just like, I don't know what to do, here's some options. I have them out for you. You decide what you want to do. And that definitely helps, make them feel like they have a say in this quiet time.
Yes. Give them some choices.
Absolutely.
Happy summer from the Cold Coffee Club. We're taking a break to enjoy the summer vibes, but we'll see you in the fall for season 5.
You've been listening to the Cold Coffee Club, brought to you by Houston Moms. We wish you a fabulous week with your families and look forward to sharing many more cups of cold coffee with you.